Danny, and my pronouns are they, them. I'm a freshman here at Georgia State. As a kid, I was always obsessed with like space and like weird things and aliens and monsters. Like I would build forts in the woods behind my house, and I would try to build like time machines out of stuff I could find in the garage. And then growing up, I still love space. I love astrophysics. I kind of study it for fun. But I love horror movies and sci-fi and music, 100%. The rock genre, it's very good. Like punk, post-punk, new wave, classic rock, folk punk, all of it. I love it. And it also inspired me to pick up guitar and drums and bass. I'm a criminology major because I've always been really intrigued by the human psyche, and then specifically how people are kind of driven to do like these macabre, terrible things. But also realizing that like even like the common man can do some of this stuff and just figure out why the human mind works the way it does and how I can rehabilitate certain people, because justice system is crap, and I want to focus more on rehabilitation rather than incarceration. And so really figuring out these scientifically proven ways to help these people. So I am non-binary, panromantic, and asexual. But I don't like to explain all of that to people, so I just say I'm queer. You know, the panromantic, I've never been attracted to a certain gender. Well, like I don't really see gender when I look at people. I was raised really with a mindset that like it's the person that matters, not like, I don't know, the sex they were born with. Like that's like way down there on the list of things that really matter. And so like growing up, I ever had a crush on anybody, it didn't really matter to me, like, you know, their gender. I liked the person for who they were. Yeah, sometimes for how they look. Like I like aesthetics. Like if you look nice, you look nice. But also like being sexually attracted to somebody, I've never felt that, and it's very hard to describe it to people, especially if they do feel sexual attraction. It's like two sides where we're both like, how can you feel sexual attraction? That doesn't make sense. And then they're like, how can you not feel sexual attraction? That doesn't make sense. My partner that I'm with right now, they're also non-binary, and they do feel sexual attraction. And I'm trying to explain my best as much as I can, and they understand it as much as they can that I'm asexual. And they're also super accepting. They're like, sex is not necessary for a healthy relationship. Like, I like just being with you. And I'm like, exactly, that's how I feel, but also at like a physiological level, you know? And then non-binary, it's not that I'm just every gender, it's also that I'm no gender, you know? But I just say non-binary just because it's a label that I think fits and it's easiest to describe. Like, I'm neurodivergent, and so growing up, like, the aspects or like the concepts of gender norms and societal rules were like, this is feminine and this is masculine. I'd hear people say that to me and I'd be like, how? Why would you think that? Like, that makes no sense. Like, you know, like pink is a girl color, blue is a boy color. I was like, they're just fucking colors. I always thought that everybody kind of thought that was a little weird. I don't really know why. I just assumed everybody shared that mindset. And then late elementary school is when people really started pointing out that I was the weird one. And then I was like, okay, so everybody does like these norms. And I feel like I'm incorrect somehow. Like, I felt like I was in trouble for not, like, being like everyone else. 3rd grade through 7th grade, I really tried to force feminize myself because I was born female, and so, you know, I shopped at Justice a lot. Anything sparkly and was loud. I had this giant disco ball of a bow on my head. Literally, it was huge, silver sequenced. It was kind of fun, but I also didn't like it. I wasn't really happy at all, and I've suffered from depression my entire life, like since I was a kid. Trying to fit myself into a skin where I wasn't who I was and I wasn't comfortable was pretty awful and ended up being really detrimental to my health, especially in middle school. Yeah, so all of that just really put me down on my self-worth, and also growing up where I lived up in North Georgia, it's very Anglo-Saxon Christians, Southern Baptist, which is very, hellfire, brimstone, damnation. And then it wasn't until, honestly, senior year of high school where I was finally comfortable enough to really express myself. I don't know why, it was just kind of like a switch. It was kind of like, all right, I've had enough. Chopped off all my hair, I started dressing the way I wanted. And it was really freeing. And it wasn't for anybody else, it was for me. And then I was just exposed to a lot more people that were really free within themselves. And I was like, I want to do that. Honestly, probably saved my life. It's got me into a couple other things. I am in love with drag. I love drag. And Atlanta is a drag show hub. And I'm like, yes. Also, it's just, I don't know, it's nice to finally feel accepted. My family was pretty supportive, is pretty supportive about me, but just in the community that we lived in as a whole, it was kind of hard to express myself that way. My parents are Christian, they're very progressive, and they never taught me that being gay is wrong. The main struggle was just reconciling. Some people have these mindsets, but now I'm just way more confident. That stuff really doesn't bother me anymore, because I know that I'm just different, and different is okay. Sometimes labels can get overwhelming, so I don't want people to think that they have to choose a label, and that if they do, then they have to stick with it. Because as you mature or grow older or go through life, it may change, you may not change, but what you thought about yourself may change. Imposter syndrome is a very big thing. You do start having those doubts and questions, and it feels I'm a fraud, I'm just trying to be different or whatever. I know my friend had that phase where she was like, I don't know if I'm a lesbian, I think I just really want to defy the status quo. And I'm like, most people don't tear themselves up about that so much because they want to defy the status quo.